Hello everyone. We are learning Tanya Igeres Hatshuva, chapter 12. This is the last chapter in Igeres Hatshuva, and then God willing tomorrow it's going to be Igeres HaKodesh. Tanya is divided into 5 parts, so this is the second part, Igeres Hatshuva. The rationale for rejoicing in suffering is that it is an immense good for the soul to be cleansed in this world rather than in the next. Meaning you're capitalizing a lot by going through aggravations here and there in this world rather than going through those aggravations in the world to come. For here, a small amount of suffering is parallel, equivalent to substantially more in the afterlife. So every tiny little aggravation, it cleans a lot of afterlife.
Yeah, but you don't
aggravation.
Guess Hashem's doing you a favor. That's why you got your back pain.
Right. That says that's why a person needs to be joyful. Immense good. It's in suffering.
I know, but for another person to say the other one, it's great. You got all this pain.
Yeah. You can't say. You're not allowed to say it. It says about Eov that they spoke to him in that regard, and it was the wrong thing to do.
Right, I know that it's obvious.
So the Alter Rebbe explained in the previous chapter that although a penitent should always remember his past sins, his recollection. See, I thought I'm connected. Let me see if. Okay, so such an attitude would cripple the cardinal principle of serving God with joy. Rather, he should recall his past misdeeds from afar, only in so far as they will teach him to be humble before all men. Moreover, these memories will actually enhance the joy of his divine service, for they will cause him to accept with happy equanimity all manner of pain and suffering, be it verbal or physical, whether visited upon him from above or through mortal agents. The reason for joy in the suffering of the body, it is great. It is a great and potent favor for the sinning soul to cleanse in this world and to spare it from being scoured in Gehenna. This is particularly true in these generations of ours, when one cannot endure all fast prescribed in the teachings of the Arizal, as mentioned earlier. Fast imperative for the cleansing of the soul, to rescue it from the cleansing of Gehenna. As Nachmanides writes in the introduction to his commentary on Eov, that even the suffering of Eov for 70 years bear absolutely no comparison to the suffering of the soul for even 1 hour in Gehenna. Imagine, Eov's 70 years of suffering is not even compared to 1 hour in Gehenna. For physical fire is but 1/60th of the fire of Gehenna. Elef Shalom was a chesed. It is only that this world chesed ibane. This world is built by kindness, for which reason, through mild suffering in this world, one is saved from severe judgments in the coming world. This is analogous to the movement of a shadow on earth of a hand's breadth. So, what's the analogy? That if you, I like to give the example of a plane. They give the example of shadow. That if you look at a plane, sometimes it looks like it's going slow, but the people who are sitting in the plane, they're moving 600 miles an hour. But you're looking at from the earth, from the ground, it seems like you see it's moving. But if you see a car moving that fast, you'd be, wow, it's so fast. It's driving 100 miles an hour. It seems like it's flying. But imagine an airplane going 600 miles an hour, and it looks to you like it's moving slow. So the same thing over here. Like we make a small little thing, but up there it's moving 600 miles an hour. So over here this is analogous to the movement of a shadow on earth of a hand's breadth. which equals to the sun's movement in the sky of thousands of miles. The sun's movement of thousands of miles causes a corresponding movement of but a few inches of shadow. Infinitely more so is this true in the parallel. In the descent of the worlds from level to level, from the most exalted heights until this physical world, the analogy may be understood as follows. Any event that transpires in this world results from a parallel but far more ethereal event that previously took place in the spiritually exalted worlds. The effect of an event in this physical world is much greater in those lofty worlds. We see this in the teaching of the Zohar on the elevation of the higher worlds. As a result of the spiritual arousal initiated by men below, through his suffering, one such representative creature from the animal world, but one such representative item from the vegetative world elevates all the spiritual realms, and such as are the effects of all the commandments requiring practical performance, as is known from the teaching of the Arizal. Mitzvahs performed in this world with physical objects such as tzitzis made of wool, or the passages of the tefillin written on parchment, set up far-reaching reverberations, movements, right?
Yeah.
In the exalted spiritual world, vibrations on the high world.
Yeah. Shake them up.
Yeah. This too is our sage's comment on the verse, sanctify yourself and you shall be holy. Man sanctifies himself only a little, comments the Rebbe, in quantity, small amount. Below, he does it down here, comments the Rebbe, in quality, and meaning he does little in quantity and quality, and he becomes sanctified in great measure from above. Chumoshin is Bolel, as it is noted above in reference to the phrase, who sanctified us with his commandments, Kedishon v'mitzvah, that Israel's sanctification through mitzvahs is bound up with the infinite life force that encompasses and transcends all world. The physical performance of divine commandment in this world draws down upon the individual holiness, not only from the most lofty spiritual worlds, but also from the degree of godliness that transcends world. Precisely so it is in reference to reward and punishment. The reward for the performance of a mitzvah infinitely surpasses the physical deed itself. The punishment as well, suffered by individual in this world for his sins, substitutes for a far greater measure of punishment that one person would have undergone had it been meted out in the coming world. As the sage says, the reward of a mitzvah is the mitzvah itself. The reward is the spiritual illumination that is drawn down through the fulfillment of the mitzvah itself, since, as discussed elsewhere, since it has just been explained that the performance of a mitzvah draws down as a reward divine illumination that utterly transcends all worlds, it follows that the reward for the mitzvah in the loftier spiritual worlds is infinitely higher than the physical action performed here below. This knowledge is elementary to the discerning, and those with intelligence in this matter will discover good. So the takeaway from today's Tanya, this world is microcosm of the upper worlds. Your small good deed down here has a bigger effect up there. Your small challenge down here saves you from bigger pain up there. So therefore we should smile all the way to the bank And we should always be happy and joyful, even if there is a little aggravations here and there.
Right.
We should know that it actually serves a big purpose, and the Rabbi many times said we should see good in a revealed way. So no hidden no hidden good. We should see it revealed, and there was enough suffering in the world.
I don't know
to you,
if anybody
only good
else
things.
is noticing this.